She's right on the money. Because what happens when somebody books the wrong MC? Like that comes to because you're talking about activation and energy and all of these things. What happens if somebody gets somebody that is not as good as you?
Well, that's also too. I mean, they're settling. Some people don't even know that I exist. They've been settling for these mediocre events because they don't know mind blowing is available. They don't know that professional emceeing is a thing. So they're settling for someone who's been voluntold, a board member who doesn't really have the stage presence because they don't know any other way. But the real return on not having a great MC is loss of attendees. Attrition is real. If people don't want to come to boring events. So if you are having a boring event, there's no insight, there's no music, there's no proper transitions, the audience isn't being activated, people don't want to return. Number two, they're not going to rave. There's a reason why there's certain conferences that we want to go to. Why? Because people are raving online. They are posting images on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. The FOMO becomes real. And then next year, you're like, oh, I'm signing up for that because London looked like she had a great time, so I want to go. So people are not raving. It's costing you revenue.
Welcome to Speakers and Stages, the series that goes beyond the mic and behind the scenes of powerful events. I'm your host, Lena Castle, event strategist and speaker experience expert. Yes, we're going to sit down and talk with event industry experts from backstage chaos to center stage clarity. This is where the strategy meets the spotlight. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Speakers and Stages, where we are pulling back the curtain and showing you behind the scenes look, speakers, stages, all the things. And it gives clarity on our craft. And so we have today as a wonderful MC. You have not seen any other who gives a lot of energy, attention to detail, such as Quinn Conyers. Now, let me introduce her because let me tell you that today's guest, she is energetic. She's an MC who doesn't just host, she activates, okay? And with over 20 years experience, Quinn Conyers, she is the go-to voice for transforming events from good to grand and bringing unmatched energy, polish, and presence to stages for brands like Nike, Walmart, PayPal, UPS, United Nations, Your Stage Next. She's been recognized as the top MC voice on LinkedIn. She is an AT&T. She has attended and emceed at AT&T Dream and Black Future Maker and was just named 2025 Top Event Professional by Black in Events. She is also a two-time author, a former speech instructor, and a certified women-owned business owner. Okay? So if you have not heard of Quinn Conyers, you're about to learn a whole lot. Buckle up and just listen in because this corporate speaker, either at corporate or global seminar, major event, conference, Quinn ensures that sponsors get visibility, attendees get and stay engaged, and event hosts look like the heroes. Doesn't everybody look like a hero? So please welcome none other than my favorite friend and guest, Quinn Conyers.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that awesome and amazing introduction.
Thank you. Welcome. Now, I know the life of the MC world is a little bit different than if you're just called in to do like a breakout or, the keynote, but you
Mhm.
get to set the pace, the tone, the energy, and all the other things. And so tell us what does it even mean to be an MC at an event? Like, let's just start there. Let's go right out the gate.
Yeah, the quickest thing is I'm a fire starter and I'm a fire putter outer, right? Like that's kind of how I like to describe it in so many words. But I think when it comes to MC and event hosting, I always like to share what it isn't and then
Yeah.
focus on what it is. And a lot of times there is a lot of misconceptions and stereotypes around the role of event hosting and MCing. And one of the major things that think people think about the role is it's just someone who is introducing speakers and sponsors, not realizing that we wear so many roles within an event that we are essential. We are needed and necessary, not a nice to have. So when
Mm.
I'm working with clients and we're having conversation, I'm like, listen, if you just want someone to read off of a piece of paper, stand at the podium, do speaker and sponsor introductions, I'm probably not the right one. However, If you want someone to activate your audience, if you want your sponsors to feel special, seen, valued, appreciated, and heard, then you and I can have a conversation, because my job is to really elevate your event from good to great to grand. And many events are settling for good and great because they don't know that grand is available. And I believe that grand is in the form of an MC.
Oh my goodness. So, well, as you are this MC that is setting the pace for an event experience and you're elevating everyone else's energy, how are you protecting your own at the same time? Like, how are you balancing the two at the same time? Because there's a lot coming out from you, as well as there's so much that's happening. So, how do you balance the two, the things that you have to do personally and what you're giving out at the same time?
Well, my energy is my superpower, and unlike many other speakers who are naturally introverted, I'm not. I am an extrovert. So people give me energy, and then
Yes.
when it's done, I need to go and go in the fetal position and hide somewhere, right? Like, but for the most part, when I'm on, I'm on. It's not fake, it's not forced, right? But I
Mhm.
think that when I am done, there is a reflective moment. There's a time of solitude and quietness that I have to kind of regain myself. And also understanding when you have such a public role and a reoccurring role in an event, unlike speakers, they might be up there for 45 minutes or 60 minutes. I'm up there all the time. So now, even if I'm off stage, I'm still on, because I have to be able to provide insight and context. And people want to know, what did you say up there about where do I go? So it's that part, but it also gives me life. So it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like it's a part of what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's
Yeah.
just about intentionality. I think that I am made to give energy and to give light. So it's not a burden that I'm carrying. It's part of my assignment.
Oh, that's so good. And so, and I'm glad you said that, that you're an extrovert. I
Mhm.
think some people may assume that I'm an extrovert, but I am not. I am an ambivert, like if I have to. But that's really good to know that you are naturally, some MCs are introverts.
Most
So,
speakers and MCs are, I'm an anomaly. Like most people, I want to say that it's like 70% of speakers are actually introverts, and 30% of us crazies, me, are actually extroverts. So you actually, yeah, they turn it on for that 60 minutes, and then it's just like, okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
oh my goodness. And the other part of this, there are things that are happening that people don't realize of what's really going on with the work that you're actually putting in. Your preparation game is serious, and explain how does that prep work? How does that look for you?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're doing events, whether it's one day or multi-day, a lot of people just assume that the work begins the day of the event. But
Yeah.
I just got off the call with with a client that I'm going to be doing some work for, and they're scripting. So, what do you want me to say? What key people do you want me to recognize? I want to say the sponsor's name right. I want to say the speaker's name right. So we have to go over pronunciation. What's the vision and the vibe of your event? If you want somebody super serious, I'm probably not the one for you, right? Because I'm
Mm,
more high energy and engaging. So it's just about being an extension of the team and not coming in with my own agenda. What are the brand colors? So, for example, I remember talking to someone, and someone had this major opportunity to go speak for Coca Cola. Their brand colors are red. This person showed up in a blue suit. Why? You might not think about it, but that's a complete brand confusion, right? So you don't
mhm,
do that. So it's looking at, what are the brand colors? Is this a podium? Is it me in front of people? Is there a confidence monitor? Is this accessible? Because if you have a speaker or a sponsor who is in a wheelchair or who has a boot on their foot, can they get up and down the stage? So I'm looking not just as your MC, I'm your event experience partner. What overall can this experience be? And how can we elevate it so attendees and sponsors rave, return, and prefer other people to attend? And what's happening is we're dropping the ball because we're not intentional about the event experience.
But you said something that's really key about some of the questions that you're asking, and I wonder if I know for our team we're putting it into a questionnaire so that we can gather. And I know sometimes it can feel overwhelming because we're asking a million questions. But to your point, I'll ask so I can get it one time so that I know that I know that I know that the information that I have is going to help arm me to do what I need to do as a superhero day of. So all of this information that you're gathering, and do you ever get a questionnaire that kind of gives you kind of some of those answers, or are you always pulling out some of the gaps even outside of a questionnaire?
Sure. So I have a pre-event questionnaire if somebody is interested in hiring me. And then when we do our kickoff call, I'm asking those questions to fill in the blank because what you don't want to do is give some people so much information that it feels like some of that information is not even relevant unless we're going to do business, right? So I'm just getting the basics. But once I have the basics and we have our initial what I call kickoff call, that's when I dive a little bit more into the details of how can I serve and support you on a deeper level. And that's the part that I think that what does keep me what I call peaceful and paid. I have no desire to be booked and busy. I believe that being booked and busy leads to burnout. So part of
Yeah.
my process of being peaceful and paid is asking certain questions so I can make sure that we are reaching the vision and the vibe of your conference or your event.
Oh, that's lovely. Now, everyone can't be an MC. Not everyone can do what you do. What makes the role of an MC so distinct and essential?
Emotional intelligence,
Mm,
because you are filling in blanks, you're reading the room, you are transitioning, you are warming the stage, you are doing so many different things. So if we're
yeah.
at a conference and there was a heavy topic and half the audience is crying or weeping or emotionally fragile, and you turn on some rock music or hardcore rap to transition to the next part of the event, you just shock their nervous system. So part of it is being able to read a room and be able to communicate with the other vendors, whether it's AV, whether it's the vendors, like a DJ, or even the event planner. I'm like, listen, I know on the agenda we're supposed to have a dance break right here, but we cannot do the dance break.
Mhm.
It doesn't work. So it's being able to emotionally read the room and say, this is what we need to do. And a lot of times when people are put in this role who are untrained, voluntold, members of the board, they don't have that. Their goal is just, I'm just going to introduce each speaker and they think that they're emceeing. What you're doing is just introducing each speaker and sponsor.
Yeah. And there's a difference.
Yeah,
And there's a
yeah.
difference. Oh my goodness. I just to those who think, and I've had certain conversations with individuals that want to put on an event, and the last thought is, "Oh, maybe an MC." I think that that is probably not the best, but when should someone, as they're thinking and planning their event, when should they start considering, "When do I need to reach out to Quinn?"
First, and here's
Mhm.
the reason why I say, and I did a post on this on LinkedIn and I got a lot of activity around it. Like, my whole thing is if your MC is the first person that attendees see, why are they the last to be hired?
Oh,
Because at the end of the day, I believe that if you hire the right MC, everything else can fall into place. The right MC can give you insight on the type of speakers that you can hire. The right MC can recommend an event planner or a company like yours. The right MC can recommend an AV team, a DJ. So a lot of times your MC has done so many different events that they have vendors and relationships in their back pocket that can support you. I can't tell you how many times I've been a last minute hire, which is fine. I'm used to
yeah.
it. And I'm looking at their run a show and I'm looking at their speakers. I'm like, you're telling me that you want to be more diverse or you want more millennials, and all of your speakers are over the age of 65. This is a baby boomers conference. And they're
Yeah.
like, what? They didn't even see it because you didn't have those extra set of eyes. So, again, yes, I'm an MC. I'm not an event planner, but what I'm also is an event strategist. I can see certain things. I can make recommendations because I have so many events under my belt. If you're trying to do something because you want more of the first time attendees to become members of your organization or
Yeah.
enroll in your event, and you have this vision of, I really, really want to do something special for first time visitors or first time attendees, maybe a
Yeah.
happy hour isn't it. How can we be more strategic about incorporating those things into your event flow, into your show, into your overall conference? So I think sometimes planners, which I love partnering with, or even event hosts, they get so caught in logistics, they forget about the experience. And I believe that the right MC could bring the experience back up to the front line and take some of those things off of your plate. Just because I'm saying that we should do it doesn't mean that the event planner or the event host has to do it. That might be something that I do, right?
Yeah.
But it's also about having that 360 experience, and incorporating your MC earlier in the process can really transform your event from average to amazing. And I love doing amazing events.
Yes. Now, but you mentioned something really important, and I don't want to blow past it. Enrollment events.
Yeah.
So, talk to us a little bit about what is an enrollment event and why it's critical, and what is the role that potentially, I don't know if this is for every MC, but your particular role when we talk about enrollment events.
So enrollment events are those events that you want the audience to either buy into something at the end of your experience. You want them to either become a member of your association or buy into your coaching program or a mastermind. But either way, at the end of your event, you want them to dig in them pockets and swipe a credit card, right? Let's keep it real. That's what you want them to do. You want them to extend their relationship with you. You want them to continue their professional development with you. So, with that being said, the right MC who understands the vision and the mission of your offer can also be the person that drives your attendees to take that next step of action, whatever it is. That is a specialized skill set. Every MC cannot do that. However, that is a part of my specialty. I come from sales, I come from fundraising. So I know how to uniquely seed your offer in a way that at the conclusion of your event, the logical next steps for me to grow is to take this step. Now I have to believe in it, right? Like if it's then I can't attach myself to it. But for the events that do make sense, then that is a logical next step. And there is a psychological things that need to happen with enrollment events. You want to prime your audience. And it's not about selling salesy, but it's also letting them know up front, don't hit them at the end with a surprise sale or surprise ask. It's about letting them know in these 3 days, we're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, or in these 2 days, we're going to be X, Y, and Z. And for those of you who want to learn more, I will invite you. So it's about being upfront with your ask and letting them know that there will be a learning opportunity to continue. So it's just about certain things that you do a little bit differently versus a fulfillment event or versus just an educational event.
Oh, that's so good, especially when you're talking sales. And, of
And
course,
money.
the goal, yeah, because people who are putting on companies, organizations, what have you, that are saying we need to be able to be positioned and primed and ready when people do say yes. If you're seeding and selling along with the storytelling of it all, I think it does make a difference if your MC is on board and understands what is being sold and what are the perks and all of those things. And I think some people miss that in talking to their MC in full detail about what is the pitch? How much does it cost?
What is the pitch? How much is it? And give me a couple of success stories of people that you work with who benefited. Because in
Mm,
integrity, I have to be able to consciously lead people as well. So if you're saying you're offering this $100,000 program and you ain't got nobody who's ever been in it, I'm sorry, I'm not the MC for you. I have to be able to support and stand by whatever you're offering to your attendees. Because at the end of the day, I know that I have charisma. I
yeah.
have the ability to communicate, to convert. And if I am using that expertise on behalf of your business, your brand, that out of integrity, I have to make sure that you have the receipts to back up what you're saying that you're going to be able to do.
Ooh, that's so good. Now, as we're shifting into the era of AI and automation, and there's so many, I mean, and beyond just AI, like you have LLM, you have all kinds of other pieces of that. Is there anything that you're incorporating or thinking about incorporating into your business?
First of all, AI can never replace me on stage, right? I think that sometimes people believe AI is a tool. AI is like a partner, it's like an assistant. So for me, it's so funny. I just got done introducing and hosting an AI and marketing stage for social media marketing world. And I think AI is a great tool to enhance your speaker or your MC brand, whether you need to, kind of bounce back copy ideas or you want to create certain images, or it's about enhancement, not replacement in my book. So I
Yeah.
believe if you're a speaker and you want to brainstorm topics for your next book, or you want to figure out what is the best way to communicate with your ideal client on Instagram. That might be a different context or a text or a tone, depending on if you want to connect with potential event planners on LinkedIn. So I believe AI is a great tool for speakers and MCs when it comes to content and research and finding out, but it can never
Mm.
replace us because the human touch, especially within the events industry, is so needed. Even when we were down for the pandemic and everyone had to go virtual, we did what we had to do, but also people crave that human interaction. And that's why in person events are still alive and well. It's not a dead industry and it never will be.
Wow. Well, it's a good perspective hearing it from you, especially when we're thinking the different prompts and what I could use it for, especially with if it's ChatGPT or other tools where you're able to do deep research. I
Yes.
think some people are not doing deep research on the people that they're bringing on the stages, but making sure like does this all align with the overarching event? And I think that's something you also have been mentioning is, how do I connect and plug into the overarching theme, the goal. So how do you know when you're like all in based on what is being presented to you if it's the right stage? Is there anything that's a recipe for this is the ideal stage?
Yes, and I love that. And I'll say this too. I think people don't use ChatGPT the right way. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I also use it to check my own self. Like,
Mm,
I don't believe that I've arrived. I feel like even though I have and graduated from college with a bachelor's and a master's degree, I'm still a student of life. I'm still a student of speaking. And one of the things that I just struggle with in the beginning was owning this MC magic that I have because it was so rare, it was so unique, and not a lot of people were doing it. Most of my friends and colleagues were keynote speakers. And
wow.
one of the things I had to do because I found myself mentally constantly questioning this gift. So I used ChatGPT and said, listen, my goal is to build an epic MC empire. What thoughts, what tasks do I
Mhm.
need to delete or get rid of to fully step into my MC power and really dominate? And when that thing spit that thing out, I will snatch all of my edges because one of the things that it said was stop over delivering and underpricing yourself.
Oh, wow.
Smack me. It also said, stop referring to yourself as an MC. It said, you're an audience activator, you're an industry innovator. So it gave me perspective. Once you begin to use these AI tools, it gets to know your voice. It scans
Mhm,
the internet and it can tell you things about yourself and how you see yourself and how you're showing up that you don't see. I mean,
mm.
literally, Lena, it said, nah, sis. This is what Jack said to me. You are not just an MC. You are an audience activator. You are an industry innovator. And I had to sit with that for a second because the beauty of these AI tools, it will pull things out of what's already out there of you and give you a different perspective. And a lot of us as speakers and as MCs, we need a different perspective on who we are. We think, oh, I'm just a leadership speaker, I'm just an MC, but the world is seeing us differently. And we need that to be able to own our genius on and off the stage.
Oh, that's so good. And there's so many things that you just said that are just like, ooh, that's she's right on the money. Because what happens when somebody books the wrong MC? Like that comes to because you're talking about activation and energy and all of these things. What happens if somebody gets somebody that is not as good as you?
Well, that's also too. I mean, they're settling. Some people don't even know that I exist.
Mhm,
They've been settling for these mediocre events because they don't know mind blowing is available. They don't know that professional emceeing is a thing. So they're settling for someone who's been voluntold, a board member who doesn't really have the stage presence because they don't know any other way. But the real return on not having a great MC is loss of attendees. Attrition is real if people don't want to come to boring events. So if you are having a boring event, there's no insight, there's no music, there's no proper transitions, the audience isn't being activated, people don't want to return. Number
yep.
two, they're not going to rave. There's a reason why there's certain conferences that we want to go to. Why? Because people are raving online. They are posting images on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. The FOMO becomes real. And then next year, you're like, oh, I'm signing up for that because London looked like she had a great time. So I want to go. So
Yeah.
people are not raving, it's costing you revenue.
Mm,
If sponsors feel like they're only getting 5 minutes and they're getting their logo on some looping screens, and you want them to pay $50,000? No, ma'am, no, sir.
Mm,
Sponsors want to be activated. They want to be seen, heard, valued, appreciated, and they want more than just that 5 minutes on stage and their logo being played. So I believe that having the right MC could bring all that to life in a very creative way. And my job, my duty, part of my assignment is to disrupt traditional conference culture. And
mm.
that's what we're being used to, and that's what we're in. And I'm like, no, you can make this better. You're willing to spend $20,000 for the right event planner, $40,000 for the right AV team. You'll spend $10,000 on a photographer and videographer, but then you let boring board member Bob host your event? Like, make that make sense. I don't understand that. You'll spend top dollar for the keynote speakers to put butts in the seat, and then you really let an amateur get up there and be the voice, the vision, and the vibe of your event. You're talking about this is high energy, but all the transitions are low energy. So let me get my box. All right, Lena, I'm done. See, this is
No.
when you talk to people that's just
It makes because you're making it make sense. I think that people may not even think about, okay, this is where my money is going. These are the because a lot of times the first thing is marketing, their AV production, they're doing all the things, but not maybe considering what if everybody shows up and you have somebody on stage that you haven't heard before, or you just want to continue to have this wonderful relationship with, and then that's your brand, that's the energy, that's the vibe. I
or
don't.
worse, they don't do your conference justice.
Yeah.
I get up there and I'm so excited to have Lena as our guest speaker, and I get up there and I butcher your name. Up next, we're going to have Lena. Lena is amazing. Lena, 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 and all you hear is Lena. Did anybody do any research to figure out what my name is? So it's just you invite these speakers, you invest in these speakers, but you don't invest in the person who's supposed to be the glue that holds your event together, or
Oh,
you don't have the right fit, because I there's all different types of MCs. If you want someone who's a little bit more comedic and humorous, I don't juggle, I don't do any of that, right? I am a professional development MC. I actually like hosting events before 5. After 5, you might be competing with alcohol and dancing and the DJ. I can, but I want to be a part of your learning elevation. Like, that's my specialty, is where can they learn and earn? So marketing events, business events, sales events are my jam, because that's who I am, and those are the type of industries that I know could benefit from my energy.
that is, oh man, it's gold to hear this because I think that sometimes I, whoever you are that's hiring the speaker, if you are the event producer, event planner, meeting planner, and you're looking at who you're going to have as your MC and host, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to have someone that you're not excited about, or you're not, like if you're scared to put them in front of your audience, like listen to your gut. So I've seen it. I've seen it flop where even with time, even when you said about like, events after a certain time, I think that the beauty of an MC being able to pace an event and being on time and lunch, like we're being on time for lunch, and when people are coming back, how do we raise the energy again? And I think that some may not consider these smaller details that have major impact on an event. Is there anything else that you want to share in your toolbox that you're like, this is what people need to be thinking about and considering? And it doesn't even have to necessarily be MC life, it could be any part of this in when inviting a speaker to come to an event.
I think, and this is what I love about what you do, and that's why every now we have these offline conversations, because I believe that our work is very similar in that we really are about event elevation. And I think that if you are having speakers, make sure they do have support. Like, you having these speakers and they get there, they don't know where to go. You just told them meet at this time. It's just like you want to truly appreciate and value their intellectual property. And it's something as simple as making sure they have the right water, making sure that they know where to go, making sure that they have a sign, a seating, making sure that, for example, if there is an assistant, their assistant is also taken care of because we all talk. So I think that proper speaker support, but also making sure that your speaker support is emotionally aware of the needs of the speaker. I
Mm,
remember I do a combination of both, right? Especially for my enrollment events where it's not like a company or corporation or association, it's an individual who's having an event and
mhm.
they are serving so many different people. Now, what they don't realize is they are having this event, they are truly going to change the lives of the audience by their offer. But what they don't understand is that they've been following Lena for years. They've been consuming all her content. They've been on her email list. And now they're in a room with her. They're sucking her energy. And it's not just one, it could be hundreds or thousands. That person, as the event host, they need speaker support. Did they eat? Did they go to the bathroom? Is their energy like, do we have a code? You blink twice, get me the hell up out of here. And it's not to be mean, but people don't realize how much of a pour it
Yeah.
is to build with people that you've never met before, but they know you. They know
Yeah.
your people. They know your kids. They know that you've been on stage and you're seeing you for the first time. They want a piece of that energy in person they've been experiencing and binge watching with or without your permission. So I do believe that in this event space, speaker support or speaker concierge is very much needed and necessary to protect the wellness, the self care of the speakers who are on stage.
Oh my goodness. And I love how you positioned it because I think that experience is a choice. Like how you love is a choice, like every day. Like how one wants to elevate that experience is totally a choice. And some, to your point already, is that some people are choosing not to elevate. They're just like, I'm getting these ticket sales as a burn and churn type of deal. And it's not intentional touch points and connection. It's not really wanting to make sure that not just the experience for the attendees, like even for the guest speakers that are coming in, I think the attention to detail it's lacking because they're like, this person's been doing it for so long. It doesn't really matter. They know what to do. They'll show up. They'll figure out where to get to. And some organizations are okay with a lackluster
Mhm.
experience for the speaker, but we'll
They are.
go all out for the audience, but your speakers are the ones that are really energizing them to want to take a next step or energizing them to do the thing or to be awed by the brand. And I think that sometimes it's overlooked with the
See, I
work.
want to play angel's advocate on that one.
Okay.
I don't think that many planners, in my opinion, I would say I think the missed opportunity is both the speaker and the attendees. I don't
Mm,
think that many of the event planners are catering to the attendees and overlooking the speakers. I think that many event planners and conference producers are caught up in logistics. So it's just like, do I meet my food and beverage minimums? Do I have the decor? Do I have the DJ? Do I have the AV team? Right. And it's not like, and it's like, do I have speakers? Yes, but that's about it. I think that it's just the logistics of we got to stay in this budget, right? I don't think it's like
yeah.
an oversight, but I think that when people who are in the production side of events start making people first, whether it's the speakers and the attendees, that's where the shift happens. But I don't believe that the speakers are the overlook. I think that they're people start with them because they're looking at who can I put on this stage that will bring in more butts. So who can I put on stage that has a message? But I do think there
Mm.
is a way to super serve them, not just hire them. And most planners are just hiring speakers. They are not serving the speaker and their message. And that's the disconnect.
Y'all heard that? She said super serve. Super serve, not just serve, super serve. Oh my goodness. Now, Quinn, like I know we can find you and it's on LinkedIn and that's your happy place. Is there any wisdom for either the speaker that would love to become an MC and get into this world, or if you have any words of wisdom to those who are meeting planners and event planners, because I think you have kind of wisdom on both ends, actually.
Yeah, I'll start with if you're a speaker, I mean, I believe that there's as your speaker, you're an entrepreneur. So being an entrepreneur means that you should always have multiple streams. And I would say, emceeing, facilitation, moderating, however you want to name it, could be an upsell or a cross sell. So if you're already doing the keynote speech, ask who is the MC if you have that skill set, because getting on stage for 45 minutes or 60 minutes is very different from keeping the energy from start to finish, especially if it's multi days. So you have to do a skill assessment. Speaking and emceeing are related. They're in the same family, but they're not the same. So you want to make sure you have that skill set if that's something that you want to do. And I would say for event planners, I said it and I'll say it again. Start with your MC. Don't make that your last hire. When you are doing a short list of speakers, also do a short list of MCs, because you might be looking for a leadership speaker, a customer service speaker, a speaker in finance, and you might have 3 or 4 options. Do the same thing for your MC. I'm looking for an MC. I need 3 or 4 options. I'm going to have a conversation with them to make sure they're the right fit, and then we're going to go forward for that. So keep your MC top of mind. They really can be your calm in case your event goes chaotic, or I believe that they're the secret sauce of really transforming your event from literally average to amazing. And I believe that average events don't need to exist when amazing is available.
Oh my goodness. But I appreciate you even letting the audience who's listening right now know that what's possible, what's available to them. Because once you now know something, how you continue to move forward in your business as a speaker or as an event planner, meeting planner, and and you continue to do the other side of what we don't want we don't want to experience or see or be a part of, that's a whole different story. Some people just I now have the information, but I want to continue to do what I've always done. But I really do think we're entering a time of survival of the fittest. When we talk events, people are being very mindful of what they want to spend, not just their money but their time. Even if it's virtual, I don't care if your ticket is $97. Whoever your MC is going to be, that person, it's not necessarily about butts in the seats. It's like you want the attention span, especially if we're talking virtual, to be engaging and people typing in the chat and people posting instantly online that they're on this virtual experience. Like, I don't understand why anybody would not want something like that for their event. Oh my goodness. That's me being on my soapbox on your behalf. I don't know why anyone else wouldn't want to. I need to figure out how to hire Quinn. Let me just go put that up there real quick.
But
This is
but
how
you
you
need but I need you and you need me, right? I think that's also a part of it. I think that part of why my MC business has grown is because I've had people like you and other event planners advocate for me and vouch for me. I can't do this event and you don't have an MC. Like, I'm looking at everything. This is a major hole. It's glaring. So if you're having a client, and I know a lot of event planners, they're being hired and they're like, listen, okay, who's doing this? Who's hosting your event? And they're like, I don't know. They're like, well, I got somebody. I got Quinn. And it might not be me, but it's at least allowing that planner or that host to understand that you need someone to put a bow on your event. You don't want any holes. You don't want to lose them in what I call the gaps, right? They come for the 45-minute presentation, they go to the breakout session, but after lunch, you lose everybody, right?
Wow.
Like, you have to have someone who is your navigator. You have to have someone who invites people to come back and gives them a reason to.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my goodness. And this is why, my friends, I am friends with Quinn, because you can't, I mean, people who get it. And it's great to have people in your atmosphere, in your environment that get it. And you need to have a sounding board about, you know, I'm thinking about this, or hey, I'm going to use this prop, or whatever the conversation is going to be. And you never know. I really appreciate you talking with my people and bringing not only the mic, the message, the mindset, but also the movement of what
Mm,
you bring. And I think that all of those things matter when we're talking about event experiences, not just an event. We're talking about an experience. People should be ushered into an experience. And so you've reminded us that being a great MC isn't about being the loudest voice. It's about being the most intentional one.
mhm, mhm.
So, Quinn, thank you so much for joining. Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
No, let's stay connected. If I said something during this interview that really resonated with you, send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you and exchange event energy. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for having me on, and let's look at events differently.
Yes, absolutely. Until next time, speakers and stages, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you next time.